So hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. And especially for those of you who are watching the replay, this is going to be a great workshop. I am very excited about this today. As I was sharing with everybody while we were waiting to come on here and go live, I was just thinking about how I'm going to be adding some of this into the work that I'm going to be doing. So if you guys want to shut your cameras off or shut your audio off, that's the word I'm looking for, feel free to do so. And I'm going to go ahead and get started and jump in. Feel free, especially for those of you who are here with me live, if you have a question, down below in your chat box, just put the question in there and I will do my best to keep an eye on that. But we will have a place at the end where I can answer some questions. All right. Enough of me talking about this. Let's get into this. Why am I not? I need to be down here. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay. So today we're talking about emotional content and what that means for your content plan. As always, I'm going to do a little bit of science about this. I think that was part of one of the reasons why I got so excited about this was because the science really made me happy. We're going to talk about what emotional content is, how it works, and why this is so important. And I'm going to actually give you specific examples about what you could do to add this emotional content into your strategy. And as always, I will share your next steps. So for those of you who have not met me, and for those of you who have known me for quite some time, pointing fingers, Kate and Marina, both of you, I have taught about 125 social media workshops at the National Entrepreneur Center in Orlando. So I have worked with hundreds and hundreds of small business owners, meaning I'm not just going to sit here and say, oh, this is what coaches do. This is what consultants do. I have worked with people who have products. I have worked with people who do services. So I can utilize all of these techniques and all of this information to help your business as well. I am the owner of two businesses. I do social media consulting, content management for 21 years. And I started the Create Your Business program in 2018. So the next workshop, this is the next in the Create Better Content series. And I keep saying I'm going to come up with a better name, but I can't. I don't know. I just like it because it's very clear. We're creating better content. So if you have not caught the past replays, they are in my YouTube channel. There's a playlist there in my YouTube channel of Create Your Business, and you can go there and catch all the old ones. I've got things about resources for brainstorming, like mind maps. Last month, we did a deep dive into your content calendar, so the tools for content. So there's all there. Just look for the playlist that says replays in, that says workshops in the Create Your Business channel. Next month, it's going to be the customer journey is what we're going to talk about. So I'm going to talk to you about how to meet your customers where they are with your marketing messages. If you have not done anything with the customer journey, this is going to be really fascinating for you as well. So watch your inbox for more details. All right, let's get started here. Yes, let's jump into the science of the emotional brain. Can you tell how excited I am? So when it comes to your brain, there's really no difference between the feeling of pure happiness or pure pain. All of these emotions are in the brain, the limbic system, which is right back here in the hypothalamus, and they refer to it as the emotional brain. I don't know if you guys remember these images on the bottom from the Inside Out movie, where the whole movie was based inside the brain of this little girl, but the characters were the different emotions in her emotional brain. Fabulous movie. If you've never seen it, even though it is a kid's movie, it's really good, and it's really explains a lot about what we're talking about with this emotional content, how our emotions and the limbic system does everything from fight or flight, protects us from danger. The limbic system feels warm emotions, love, joy, anger, sadness. All of this is coming from this place right back here in the hypothalamus in our brain. But here's the really cool thing about the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus creates these chemicals in our body, and these chemicals are called peptides. And a peptide is connected to every thought and feeling that you have, either good ones or bad ones. And remember, your brain doesn't know the difference between something that's good and something that's bad. It just craves these chemicals, these peptides in your body. So I want you to think about this. So the more intense your emotions are, the more frequently these peptides get produced. So think about these moments like when you're feeling anxiety or when you're feeling upset about something and your brain just keeps going round and round and round and round and round. And then you actually start to feel it in your body. A really good example of this is when people go through grief and they say to you, my heart is broken. And you'll say to them, how do you know your heart is broken? And they'll say, because I feel pain right here. I feel a pain right here, or I'm really upset right here in my stomach. Our bodies are feeling these emotions. They're physically feeling, and nobody's going to sit there and tell you, no, you're not. It's all in your head. Well, it kind of is in your head because that's where it started. But it actually moves. It starts here. And these peptides are connected to all of our thoughts and our emotions. And whether we're feeling something good, like seeing a newborn baby for the first time, or a puppy for that matter, and we just feel, oh my God, you feel so warm and fuzzy all inside. That's where that expression comes from. I feel warm and fuzzy. It's from the peptides. It's the same thing as when you're grieving, or when you had a bad breakup or something like that, and you say that my heart is hurting. It's the same thing. These feelings and these thoughts and these good feelings are just a part of how our body works. And so what's fascinating to me about this whole thing is that peptides act like a chemical addiction, and our bodies are constantly looking for something good or bad. It wants to feel those emotions. And it's that kind of thing that when you get stuck on a thought and you're like, I keep cycling around and cycling around, the next thing I know, I'm feeling anxiety, or next thing I know, I'm feeling like this. It's your body reacting, wanting this chemical addiction. And so it's looking for something good or bad of the emotions. So if you know that, and if we understand that your body has no preference over good peptides like love and happiness, or the bad peptides like anger, fear, and rejection, and your body can't tell the difference between the good and the bad, wouldn't you rather feel better than feel bad? So if we can have a decision, if we can consciously decide, because just because our body is feeling these things and just because our mind is thinking these things, it's because we have conditioned ourselves to think these thoughts. We have conditioned our body to feel this way. And if we have conditioned our body to feel this way, we can also train our body to feel another way. So it doesn't matter if they're looking, the positive or the negatives, the body is looking for this next hit of the peptides. So I want to bring this point around to you. If we know this about our body now, if we know this is a fact, this is scientific fact. This is not something that Penny is making up. I can promise you this. I am not making this up. This is real science fact. So if we know going into this that if our hypothalamus back here, the limbic brain, the emotional brain, words, whatever words you want to use, is feeling like this, wouldn't you rather to choose what makes you feel happy than feeling bad about rejection, anger, or fear? So I want you to think about that. You have the choice. You have the decision to retrain your thought process, because your body's still looking for those peptides. Why not give it more peptides of the positive nature versus the negative ones? So I want to start with that place of where we are right now as we get into this emotional content, because this emotional content is literally feeding off of this back here. This is how it's working. Every human being experiences this. And so if every human being is experiencing this, and the human beings are online and they're flipping their phone and they're trying to decide whether they're going to stop at that post and read it and click on it and move, it has everything to do with the way that the emotions have allowed us to feel about whether we're going to take action or not. So if you're with me so far, let's keep moving. So what exactly is emotional content? What exactly is all of this? The formal definition of this is to add an emotional element into your marketing messages to leverage a connection to convince a persona, the person, the customer, to complete an action, whether it's to purchase the product, sign up for a mailing list, or click here for more information. So we got that. So what we're doing is we are creating opportunities to put an emotional connection into our marketing messages to get somebody to take action. It's really just that simple. Because we want to think about this from this perspective. And the effort is focused on tapping into one specific emotion. You are almost never going to see, and I'm going to preface this by saying, a successful campaign. You may see other campaigns that are trying to reach for all kinds. Oh, here, fear of this, fear of missing out. Oh, here's an anxiety if you don't sign up for this. But here, feel good because you're going to make 6 figures. Those types of marketing messages become very confusing to us because you're telling me I'm going to be fear of missing out. You're telling me that I'm going to be happy. You're telling me all of this, and my body can't process it. And we tend to move through it. So when your marketing is focused on tapping into one emotion, the positive emotions like joy and excitement, pride, or whatever, or tapping into the fear of missing out, anger, envy, that type of thing, you're going to be much more successful rather than trying to hit the entire emotional gamut. So it's a big piece right there, because our buying decisions are 80% emotional and only 20% of our decisions are based on logic. I don't know if you all realize that, but that was an important piece. And so I'm going to say that again. Buying decisions are 80% emotional and only 20% of our decisions are based on logic. And so if we know that we are feeling emotional about something, it allows us to want to share it. I mean, how many times have you been scrolling through your favorite social media platform and you see something and it is so funny that you just hit that share button? You're not even thinking, does anybody else think it's funny? Does anybody else? You just think this is the funniest thing ever. And you hit that share button, or you hit the share button because it's something, really good that you want to talk about. So we're triggered by our emotions to take action. And that is its point with emotional content, to trigger somebody to take an action specifically on an emotional level. So when we talk about emotions, as I shared with you before, the difference between the good emotions and the bad emotions, if we look at this chart right here, should we be using good ones or should we be using bad ones? If we look at this chart right here, we can see that the majority of the emotions that with content that go viral they use the word awe. That's kind of like, like the amazing photos that you can see when you see videos of people, surfing a huge wave or climbing a huge mountain. And you're like, wow, that's amazing. That's awe. And then if you look down this list right here, laughter, amusement, joy, all of these are much more positive, good emotions versus anger, empathy, sadness, and didn't even show up as a number. So we can see right now by looking at this and that the emotions that are making content go viral are good ones. And let me pause for a second and bring up this point. Think about the times when you have seen something online and they're telling you that if you don't sign up right now, if you don't get a part of this, you're going to miss out and we're not doing this again till next year and the prices are going to go up. And I'm trying to think of all those horrible things that people say when they're trying to get that urgency and to get you to sign up versus, so I've got this new program and I think that you're going to be able to envision everything that you've envisioned about your life, everything that makes you feel good about your business, everything that makes you feel good about who you are. This is what this product is going to do. This is what this service is going to do. It is going to take you into a place that you could only dream about. What a difference that was in those 2 examples that I gave you, right? You are more likely, statistically wise, to go with that last one that I gave you, when I gave you so much goodness and I gave you so much happiness, because we want to walk away feeling happy. We want to feel joy. We want to feel amused. We want to feel the laughter. We want to feel good. We don't want to feel so much. And so there's so many, and you know, now that I bring this up, you guys are going to start noticing this all the time. Start noticing when you see people pitching on Facebook, when you see people posting up something on LinkedIn, when you see people posting up something on Instagram, look at the content. Is it making you feel happy, or is it making you feel like anger? Is it making you feel like I'm going to be missing out if I don't do this? And see how that makes you feel. And not just how does that make you feel, but how does it make you feel to take action? Will you take action because somebody is telling you that this price is going to go up, and if you don't get it right now, you're going to miss out? Or would you take action because somebody said to you, this is amazing, you're going to feel so great, your business is going to, you're going to scale your business in the next 6 to 12 months? You are more likely to take action on the good than the bad. So think about that as we move through this whole process, and I start filling in about some specific examples about what we do for emotional content as well. So here's the thing about the emotional wheel. I think I might be, no, I think I'm not covering up too much. So I'm going to start getting to a place where I'm going to ask you to do some screenshots. So there's this thing called the emotion wheel. It's a great big, huge wheel of all of the different emotions. And it's basically divided into these 4 parts: enjoyment, interest, commitment, and passion. So if we talk about enjoyment, enjoyment is the starting point. Enjoyment is, as I said here, is all too often where the businesses stop in their emotional analysis. It's like, is it happy? Is it bad? Is it pleasant, or is it unpleasant? There's more to this marketing than just these 2 options. So enjoyment is a good starting point, but that's not where we want to land. We want to move even further, and it's something called interest. So if your customers are feeling emotions that are predominantly about themselves, the interest of inward versus outward, your marketing message are focused on your product or services outward, your message is not being heard. It's going back to that thing of the peptides. How are you going to make me feel? How are you going to make me feel when I read this? Am I going to feel like you are talking about me and how I'm going to do this? One of the things that I've always said with regards to working through your content strategy for your clients is the client is asking, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? It's not just about, you trying to reach your sales goals, because, you are trying to reach your sales goals. But with your marketing message is not about, hey guys, I'm $2,000 away from making my sales goals this month. Come help me make my sales goals. No, that's nothing to do, because that's outward. That has everything to do with the business, the product, the service. But what is this product or service going to do for me? What is this inward? What is it doing for me? So that's where the interest comes in, outward versus inward. And then the next place that we get to is something called commitment. Understanding whether you're feeling passive or active. And that's going to determine whether they're going to get motivated to move. And you want to understand where they are. Are they feeling like, or are they actively interested in what you're talking about and what you're doing? So the passive and active has a different spectrum as well. So you want to think about that part until we get to the very, very last. The very last piece of this is passion. How strong is that emotion? This part is the guidepost for determining where they are on the spectrum. As you can see, so everybody who's going to be on the right side of this, pleasant, outward, not the right side, pleasant, inward, active, and intense. Those are all the places that you're going to want to be with regards to your marketing. You want people to be, you want them to enjoy it. You want them to realize that this is about them and it's going to help them. It's going to benefit them. So the inward, the commitment needs to be active. I need to be interested enough that I'm going to click on this link and I'm going to actually go to your sales page. I need to be interested in enough and have enough passion in it that I'm going to go more from just your sales page and click that buy here button, or whatever the next step you want me to do to get into the sales funnel, to get into a class or whatever it is that you're the challenge or something like that. So that's what we're looking at. So we're going from enjoyment, interest, commitment to passion. And this is the process that we want to start working through. Okay, so now I'm going to let you do a quick screenshot of this because this is really super important. This is a version of the emotion wheel, because like I said, the emotion wheel, if you run a search on the emotion wheel, it's got like tons of emotions on this. But this one really is very distinctive with regards to those 4 things that I just talked about. It's actually referred to the emotion landscape. So if you can see here right now, we can see where it's unpleasant and pleasant, active and passive, active and passive. We can also see the level of positive engagement, negative engagement. This is a fascinating, and you can tell right now by looking at each individual square will give you specific emotions that are connected to where these people are. For obvious reasons, we do not want to be on one end of the spectrum at the very, very end of it, right there under where it says contempt to outward, because those are the bad ones, the rejection, the disinterest, the anger, the contentment. Nobody wants to be there. We want to be all the way here on the other end of this, under loyalty and outward. We want to be under, actually, I think we'd be more under loyalty and inward, but that's just my opinion. Either one are active. So these are the type of emotions that we want people to feel. We want them to feel energy. We want them to feel the confidence, the pride, the joy, acceptance, kindness, loyalty. Loyalty. We're going to get to loyalty pretty soon when I talk some more about emotional content. But these are just 32 of emotions that I can refer to. But you can pull and think about this. So if I could say to you, I would like to think about how I can do a marketing message, and looking here about trust. Trust is basically giving me a level of positive engagement. It's an outward thing. You know, we want to take a look at this. How can I talk some more about trust? How can I create my marketing messages built around trust? You know, so we can take these specific emotions and work backwards from them about how we can create our marketing messages from there. I just found this absolutely fascinating. Maybe it's just me, but I think it's fascinating how they break it down like this based upon these different levels and the emotions themselves. So as always, I'm going to jump into something here that I talk about all the time. So let me add a little extra to this. If you guys, I know you guys must be all on my email list. So you know that you hear me say, just do something creative. And I'm always talking about, go do this, go do this, go do this. And a lot of times people come to me and they say, well, you know, I know you wanted to do something creative. I just don't know what you want me to do, which is the whole reason behind the Create Your Business program. So here's what I want you to do. This is a fantastic exercise. And within this exercise, you're actually going to be tapping into your emotions. I want you with this exercise to list 10 things to be grateful for. Scientific studies have shown us that feeling grateful is a link between tapping into our creativities. And what I want you to do is I want you to experience more positive emotions, more positive peptides. I want you to get into this mindset, because when you get into this place, that's when you start breaking into that right side of your brain. And that right side of your brain, when you're tapping into it, starts to open up and the ideas and insights will start to flow. So here's the thing about this 10 things to be grateful for. Gratitude is like creativity. When you develop this process through practice, it works. It works when you work it. So when you feel yourself starting to shift and you feel yourself starting to move into this place, you know that it's working. You know that those aha moments are happening to you. You can feel it. There, not one person can sit there and tell me, I've never experienced this before. We've all experienced this. We've experienced it in the shower. We've experienced it when we've been driving our car. We experience it when we go for a walk, when we are not so focused on trying to, stare at a blank piece of paper. But when we put ourselves in a position where we're allowing that right side of our brain to open up, that's when the creativity really starts to flow. So when you think about writing out your 10 things to be grateful for, I want you to do more than just writing out a list like, I'm grateful for my family, my friends, my kids, my work. We're all grateful for that. We are all grateful. And I appreciate that. And I'm not discounting that or anything, but I want you to dig a little bit deeper. And when you do your 10 things to list, I want you to say, why? I'm not just grateful for my family. Why am I grateful for my family? Why am I grateful for my kids? Why am I grateful for these places on my list? Why are you grateful for working for yourself? Why are you grateful for the inspiration that you got for today? Why are you grateful for the friendships where you can share stories and exchange ideas so you don't feel so alone in building your business? These are some examples that I'm talking about with why. Taking that a step forward, because it's just easy for us to just do 10 things like family, friends, I'm grateful for my home, I'm grateful for my dog, grateful for my car started this morning, all those things that we want to say. Dig a little bit deeper, because when you spend a little bit more time digging into the why, it's going to really, really help you understand more about what you have rather than what you're lacking. And when we think about what we have, it allows the more positive emotions, the more peptides that come through our body. And we start to feel this even more so that we are opening up that right side of our brain. So also, as I'm explaining to this, as you're working through this, you are going to open yourself up to ideas, because what you're doing is you're allowing your mind to start wandering. And I always like to say, so keep a notebook, pen, or a mobile app or something by your side, because what's going to happen is you're moving through this process, ideas are going to come to you. They may be content ideas, they may be promotional ideas, they may be something about something you want to sell. But I can tell you right now, I can assure you that when you start working through this activity, something's going to happen and it's going to trigger in your brain and you're going to pop up. And know at that moment it may not, but keep the pen and paper, keep the mobile app near you, because within a couple of hours, something's going to pop up. Because what you've done is when you go through this experience and you start retraining your brain into feeling more of the good feelings, more of those good peptides, your brain's going to want more of that. Your brain's going to go, please, more, please, sir, can I have some more? It wants more of the good stuff. And so you're going to want to keep doing this over and over again. So this exercise is a really simple one to get you started. And as I always say in every one of my workshops, if you want to continue this process, you can always subscribe to the Create Your Business program. For everybody on the workshop, you'll get $20 off the subscription plan. Go to Create Your Biz, use the coupon code CREATE, all in lowercase. And basically, for those of you who are not so familiar with it, I'm going to share it to you again. Every month, you get an interactive workbook that comes into your inbox, and you get creative tools sent to your doorstep. So not only are you going to be walking through the process of understanding how to create your content strategy, you will be getting the tools to do more creative activities, to spend more time opening up that right side of your brain to allow you to come up with some really great insights, to come up with some really great ideas about how you're going to move your clients from unaware of who you are as your business to clicking that buy here button. So how do we use, well, I'm moving fast today. How do we use emotional content? Let's get real specific about this now. So by now you've probably figured out emotion is definitely the most powerful forces when it comes to being human beings. If you can move a person to feel something, you have won their attention. Really big. Move a person to feel something and you've successfully won their attention. Now I'm going to stop here. Yes, it's true. If you move them to feel something negative, you still have their attention. But our goal is not just so much to get their attention, but to get them to take action. So we want to remember that too as well. So emotional content does things like this. It helps your community remember who you are. Think about this. Think about some of your clearest memories experiences that have inspired some powerful emotions. So if you can get somebody to feel something, they're much more likely to remember you. I can still remember to this day, I'll use a really good example. And if you haven't seen this, I know it's still available on YouTube. There is a Pampers commercial. And in this Pampers commercial, gosh, I want to say it was, I know my son was little when this one came out. So it's got to be like 15, at least 15 years old, if not more, but I still remember it. It's the baby is sleeping. And the whole thing is, and there's like a lullaby music in the background, and there's the voiceover, and they're basically, you're watching the cutest baby in the world sleeping. And the whole point of the commercial was to talk about how the baby was staying dry the whole night. And because the baby was staying dry the whole night, everybody was happy in the house. And so that was the whole story, because the baby was staying dry, because the Pampers were so good. And it is the most emotional commercial. And it has stayed with me so many, I can literally see that baby's face still in my mind. And it was stayed with me so much that, I mean, my son is, how old is he now? He's 19. I have no need for Pampers. There's no reason for me to think about Pampers. And yet this commercial has made me continue to remember them, has made me to think about this over and over again, because I remember the way that it made me feel. And every time I see this commercial, even when I can watch it on YouTube again, I still feel the same way. I still feel it. So think about that. Think about how creating content that your community will remember, inspiring some kind of powerful emotion that's going to get them to have you, to remember you, right? Emotional content also drives sales. Ads that leverage human emotion are about 31% more effective to create sales, while ads that stick to more traditional tactics are about 16% effective. Remember, I said several slides ago, whenever that was, 80% of our decision making is done by emotions and 20% is by logic. So if we are feeling something emotional, we have a greater chance of making that sales. So if you hit your audience right in the feels, right in that moment, right in that thing where you're actually telling them, this is how you're going to feel, this is what's going to happen, this is the point of this, this is, remember, for inward, for you, this is how it benefits you, this is how it benefits your business, this is how it benefits your income, your life, your health, your well-being, blah, you know, blah, 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 fill in the blank, whatever words you want to use. That's what's going to drive the sales. The sales are going to come because somebody's going to make that 80% emotional decision over logic. And it convinces them. This is the other part of this. When you're talking about emotional content, it lets them know that the products and services will make them happier, healthier, more confident, less afraid, all of these words that you want to use right there when it comes to that. This is what emotional content can do for us when done correctly. Now, I'm not saying that negative content doesn't work, because we all know that we have, throughout our years, our many, many years, TV commercials, cable commercials, radio commercials, print ads, you know, ads on Instagram, ads on Facebook, you know, all of that stuff that we've seen constantly, consistently. There are negative commercials that are, you know, there are things that are trying to tell us, if you don't do this, this is going to happen to you. If you don't do this, this is going to happen to you. And it could, and it could easily, and you could, you know, click that buy here button, because maybe that triggered an emotion in you going, no, I don't want this. But I can assure you that when it comes to emotional content, you are going to do much better with something that's going to be a feel-good, warm, what's in it for me type of marketing message, rather than the negative. And the other amazing thing about emotional content too is that it encourages customer loyalty. I don't know if you remember that when I asked you to screenshot. One of the words on there was loyalty. Loyal customers are the ones that recommend your services to other people. Loyal customers are the ones that hit that share button because what you've presented to them, what you shared with them, whether it was a video or a blog post or just even a meme or something like that, if they feel something, they are going to hit that share button and they're going to advocate for you and they're going to swear by the products and they're going to go, oh, how many times have you seen, and I just had a thought and let me, I interrupted my own brain. Okay. Think about how many times you have seen somebody promote something and they're like, oh, I just use this soap and it's the most amazing soap. And then they'll always say, I didn't get paid. I am not a paid spokesman. I didn't get paid to promote this. I just think this is the greatest process ever. It was the greatest soap. It helped me clean my kid who was filthy. I'd never seen anything like it before in my life. I'm just obviously making up stuff. But how many times have you seen that? And how many people have said, I didn't get paid to do this? That's customer loyalty. That is customers who are feeling an emotion and are dealing with emotional content. And they're the ones, because of these emotions, because of the way that they're feeling about your business, your product, your service, or even you, they are going to more likely share. And that's like some of the best marketing. You can't even buy this kind of stuff. When you see a post that says, I just love this particular product. I love this company. Those are one of the best things. The best marketing programs that you could ever have is when you see something like that. That is emotional content. That's exactly what that is. And that is what's driving that particular behavior. So how do we add all of this emotional stuff into our marketing? What are things that we can actually do? One of the best ways that we can add emotional content into our marketing is storytelling. The human mind loves a good story. We love hearing about how this happened and this happened and this happened, and it stirs our emotions and it inspires us to want to do more, to be a part of this. So these are the greatest ways. Storytelling is very much connected to your branding. I am not a storytelling expert, and so I don't want to even claim to be one. But I'm working to try to get somebody on one of our workshops. I'm still working on her. Because I think that this is a really, really important piece for us in our businesses, understanding storytelling, understanding how to share this information and share it in a way that creates this emotional connection with people online, through your videos or however you are doing your content. So some ways that you could be sharing your storytelling. And this is definitely something that I have done, is I have added personal stories into my marketing messages. I know you guys are all on my email list. So for those of you in my emails, you probably have seen me tell some stories. You've heard me talk about my dog. You've heard me talk about my son. You've probably, if you're with me long enough, you might have even seen an email or two about hurricanes here in Florida. This is my life, and this is this personal story that I live. Customer testimonials is another great way for storytelling. If you can put a customer testimonial in there, and not just their customer testimony. I mean, obviously you're going to put their words in there, but I would even preface it by saying, if you're not sure if you really want to be a, whatever, put the customer testimonial in and then add some more content afterwards. Don't just put the testimonial in there. Add your business backstory to your about page. When I did a whole rebranding thing last year, one of the first things that we did together was we rewrote all of the content on my website. And a big, huge piece of it that we worked on, and I can remember we did this for several days, going back and forth, was my about page. Really sharing my backstory. So if you haven't read that, go to createyourbiz.net and click on that about, and you will see a really good example of storytelling, emotional content that I have added into a place on my website. This is just a few ideas about what you can do with storytelling. Obviously, you could do storytelling with videos. You could do storytellings with blog posts. You can do storytelling in all sorts of ways. That's not just these, but these are some ideas to give you a place to start. Another thing that you can do to add emotional content into your marketing is surprise them and get them curious. You can develop some, you can think about what's going on with what you're working on and how you can do this differently. What's your spin on this? What's something that you're thinking about in a different way? I'll use a good example as myself. There's a ton of people out there, a ton. I was about to say a bad word that begins with an S. A ton of people out there who are doing content marketing, a ton of them. But I haven't found a whole lot of people who are doing content marketing and also talk about the science of it, and also talk about how our right brain and our creativity are directly connected to our content. Not a whole lot of people on there. So think about how you can, and that is a way that I use when I talk about the science, and when I talk about peptides, and I talk about feeling good. That was one of my whole reasons behind writing that book that I wrote last year, was to give you a place to start and to read the science behind it. Why all of this is so important to your business, why all of this is so important for your content marketing. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I did with this to get people curious is I took my book, which I still have right here. I have a copy of my book right here. And I made videos with each of the chapters. So I read the chapters of my book, but then expanded on them and added some more storytelling features, adding some more opportunities to get people curious. And another thing that you can do to surprise them is tease your audience a little bit, just enough to leave them asking a few questions about something that they thought they knew, but maybe you could give a different spin on it. Maybe you can teach them something. As a matter of fact, for those of you on my list, keep an eye on your email next month, because I will be teasing you with something. I have been working on another book, an interactive workbook that I'm going to be selling on Amazon. And it's going to be, I'm excited about it, having to do with creating remarkable content and basically teaching you all of these steps and taking you through a place. And then when you get done with this, you can have your content strategy in place. I'm super excited about it. So I will be teasing my audience a little bit about this. So I was giving you a little bit of tease right there. So this is just a couple of ways that you can add some emotional content. But one of the biggest places that you can add emotional content into your marketing are the creative elements. Think about the senses. Think about our senses. Think about what we hear. Think about what we see. I don't want to say so much as we smell, as with regards, depends on where we are. But think about our emotions and our senses that are directly connected to us making a decision. So if you think about the creative elements, think about things like color. Color has a powerful effect on emotions, like red, excitement, passion; blue, calm, safety; yellow, happiness, joy; green, hope or wealth. So when we use certain colors in our marketing materials, they are actually affecting emotions. If you think about the ones that have actually triggered you, the ones that have gotten you to stop scrolling, the ones that have got you to take action, think about the color. And the next time you are scrolling through something, one of your social media platforms, take a look at the color. Take a look at the color of the pictures that people are adding. Take a look at the images. Take a look at the memes. Take a look at the even the buy here buttons. Think about the color that people are using, because colors actually have an effect on our emotion. And so using different colors and these creative elements in your marketing is going to create a different effect versus, using another color. And the same is with music. Think about the differences when you are listening to a commercial with upbeat and happy music versus slow and sadness. And of course, what always comes to my mind, slow and sadness, are those very sad commercials about those baby dogs that make me so sad, and if I have to hear that song one more time, In the Arms of the Angel, I know I could be in the other room and I hear that song on TV and I know the commercial. That's what's coming on. And I know that's what it is. And sometimes I'm like, I can't even look. I can't look because it makes me sad. You know, music has this effect on us. Think about songs from the past. Think about how when we listen to songs when we went to high school and how they trigger a memory with us, and how there's a lot of music out there, right? Excuse me, there's a lot of commercials out there right now that dig into older songs. And this is really funny because I know that a lot of times TikTok is using older music, like when I was a kid, and then I'll be listening to a song and my son will go, "Oh, that's a song from TikTok." I'm like, it's not TikTok. This song was around before you were born. This is from my high school. No, it's from TikTok. No, it's not. It's from there. You know, we get into this big debate about that. But amazing how we have this whole conversation about a song and it's causing us to feel an emotion. Now, think about if this song is also connected to a product or service, especially a product or service that I'm on the fence with and I'm not sure if I want to buy. And now I keep hearing songs from my past. That is going to make me feel even more warm and fuzzy towards your product. And the same from music, from movies. When we think about movies, it also creates those types of emotional effects on us as well. So pay attention to the different creative elements with regards to your marketing. Think about that. Think about how the music that you're going to put in the background. Think about the colors that you're going to be using. So it's not just about the copy, because remember, a lot of times when we're scrolling really fast, we may not have that time to really be reading the copy as much as we can hear something or we can see something. So these are some really important pieces when it comes to creating some emotional elements into our marketing. So another thing that you can be doing about your emotional content is share your authenticity. I always say that people do business with people that they know and they trust. So we can use emotional content to turn us into a real, genuine person. And that we're not just trying to make another sale. We are a genuine person that we can let them trust, that we can help them with their business. So showing your authenticity in that way. It doesn't mean telling everybody all of your personal problems and all of your personal secrets, and don't use Facebook like it's your personal journal. That's not what I'm referring to with being authentic. Being authentic is if there's something that you support, if there's something that you feel very strongly about, just speak your mind and be part, so that I know that's who she is. That's a part of who she is. And that's a part of what this business is. And if I was to do business with this business, this is the person I would be working with. This is the kind of person I would be working with. So when we show this authenticity, when we allow ourselves to open up and be more than just a sales message, that's when we're adding that emotional content into our marketing. And that's when we're breaking down those walls, I guess is a good way of saying it, breaking down a wall between us, to that way that people feel like, I know you. I know you. People do business with people that they know and they trust. So we want to be in a place where we can use our marketing to show our authenticity, to let people know who we are, how we can help them, and why we, our business, us, are the solution that they're looking for. So that is one of the main reasons that emotional content will do wonders for your marketing. All right. Wow. I finished a lot earlier than normal. I'm surprised at myself. But that's good, because it's always good for me when I can get things done as quick as I can. So again, as I've always said, if you want to continue this process, I would love to see you subscribe to the Create Your Business program. You can get $20 off any of the subscription box plans. They come in 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months. So use Create all in lowercase, and that way you can get that. As I said before, it's a DIY program, but you do have opportunities where you could work one-on-one with me by being a member of the Create Your Business program. So you get your interactive workbook every single month, and the creative tools will be sent to your doorway. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So if you have any questions, let me know. I just realized there's been a couple of. Yes. So let me see here. So Marina, the replay will be less up at the YouTube channel. So you'll always be able to see that there. And you're saying Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller is, oh yes, I've heard that. I've heard of that book. Yes, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller is a good book. I have heard about that book. And like I said, I would love to be able to talk more about storytelling. I am not an expert on that, so I'm openly being honest with you guys, and I don't want to say something that's not true, and that's not going to help you. So I'm still doing my best. As a matter of fact, when I get done, I'm going to email her again today and say, I don't suppose you want to come on board. So hopefully we can get that going, and I can get the storytelling piece of this so that I can share this with you as well. But I'm not seeing any other questions. Is there any other questions? Nope. Can't tell. Okay. But hey, look at that. I let you go. I got done earlier than normal. I'm usually an hour and a half. But so follow me on YouTube. The Create Your Business is right there. Then don't forget the playlist. All of the workshops are going to be up there. Plus you'll also get all of the videos that I made from my book, as well as some other great content resources, content tips, and a lot of great information, what we talked about today. I'm also on Instagram at Create Your Biz, and createyourbiz.net is where you can go to see my about page. Remember that I talked about that. That's a great example, and I'm very proud of that. I did all of that work with that branding person. So go to my about page, and that'll give you a really, really good example of what storytelling looks like that involves emotional content on a website. So if we are good to go, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. But for those of you who want to stay around a little bit, I can sit and chat with you for a minute. But for those of you who are watching the replay, thank you so much. I appreciate all of you for showing up today, and thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you. Until next time, this is Penny signing off. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.